The Walking Dead, Season 1, Episode 4. Thoughts? This episode is called Vatos. The episode is rated TV-14, so will this video be another episode I love? Spoilers for, this episode and the ones before it. Let's dive right in. So, the ending of the episode kind of rips your heart out and stomps on it, and that's, one of the reasons we watch stuff like this, just to, I feel like I should have seen it coming when they developed the relationship so much between the two sisters at the start, and then later, this is her birthday present. She's 2 weeks away from retirement. Genuinely, really, really emotional when the elder of the two sisters is crying over her dying and then dead body. And it was also like the opening really good scene. They're talking about their father and not knots, but also their father's love and his understanding of the fact that they're two very different people. Not who's there? Fish. And the viewer count plummets. Moving on. Let's see, I guess the next thing, the thing with Jim was also a great, good bit of foreshadowing. He's digging, and he just won't stop digging, and he can't really explain why, and then, I had a dream, I don't remember all of it, and then at the end, I remember the dream. Holy crap, and... Ed dies as he lived, complete asshole, and he feels so humiliated by, being beaten. He doesn't just get mad at Shane, which, one could understand, but he says to hell with all of them. I wouldn't piss on fire to put them out. And he's just... It doesn't seem to have led to any self-reflection at all. He is... He's one of those kinds of people. Let's see. I guess he finally found a job. A canary in a coal mine. And that was also a thing, like, the moment I saw him get attacked by a walker, I was like, no great loss there. But then I saw... the young woman, and it's like, no, not her. The fireside chat was also great. The thing with the watch. And several of them are like, what is the deal with the watch? You let this little thing tell you what to do. Well, this man once said to a young boy, I hid this uncomfortable hunk of metal up my ass. That was probably one of the worst Christopher Walken impersonations. I feel like I got close there at the end, but yeah. I'm rusty. I think that pretty much covers everything back at camp. Let's go to the city. Genuinely of a good... this thing of, both them looking for Merle and the whole encounter. I'll cover Merle first. So, he did indeed. He made a tourniquet, so he's not gonna bleed to death. And let's see. That was probably too vague of a reference to make sense to anyone. I did not think that through. Was that enough of a clue? I hope so. Let me know if you need... This is a really fun game. I know it's like more than a decade old, but anyway. And badass as he is, he cauterized the wound. Holy crap. Like, there's a lot of people, if they even attempted that, you know, and if they were in this episode, they would have been found like just screaming on the floor even hours and hours later. And that, yeah, there would be no shame in that. Like, just holy crap. Right, I really appreciate that Daryl uses, a bow. Sorry, it's not a bow and arrow. It's not 12. It's a crossbow. I really don't mean that as like, Hawkeye slander. It's a Birds of Prey movie quote, although I suppose that movie was probably trying to slander Hawkeye. But yeah, this thing of, he keeps picking up the arrows and he's careful to wipe off, walker blood just in case an arrow tip touches one of the, yeah. Let's see, then we have the, accidentally touches a person. I think that does... Right, and the location scouting was also a thing I really wanted to mention. Amazing work so far in each episode. Yes, that gets us back to... So they didn't find Merle, but he is clearly still alive. Don't know if he's well. Might not on account of the... Yeah. Right, another thing. Yes, previous episodes, set up, it's not going to be safe forever to be at the camp. I realize I also said that in my video on that, but I really appreciate how this show sets up, this might be a safe place, maybe you could stay here, maybe you could go to this safe place you've heard about, and then not long after, it turns out, no, it wasn't safe after all. If it didn't take away the safety, it would end up feeling like, well, I guess the zombie threat isn't that big. And if they never said, oh, this place might be safe, it would just get exhausting. It was like, oh, okay, so is nowhere safe? Like, what are we doing here? How many episodes are we going to be told there's nowhere that's ever safe? Instead, what the show does, and I love, is that it says this place might be safe for now, but we got to keep an eye on it. That's, yeah. And yeah, they encounter what were they call it? Carers? Let's go with that, yeah. And, at first, they think, oh, this is a Latino gang. One of those you hear about, ravaging big cities in America. And, by the end of the episode, it's like, yeah, I mean, it was Daryl who attacked that, one can understand why Daryl did it, because he was like, this kid is going to draw in walkers. But, yeah, shoots an arrow into that one guy's ass. Could be worse. Could be a monkey. He's probably like, I could have been playing cards with Tuco right now. Or at least cleaning the tub or something. And, yeah, this thing of, like, the guns and Glenn and the trade, and yeah, both of them put on this really tough front because they assume that the others are dangerous. The other group. Something, that is possibly my favorite zombie. I suppose it's not always zombie, but like post-apocalypse dystopian kind of trope. Possibly my favorite movie that explores it is The Road and game I Am Alive. And yeah, if you're not familiar with both of those, one is kind of, I Am Alive, it seems very inspired by The Road. And they implement the idea of, is this person dangerous to me or not, into a gameplay, element in a way that I thought worked rather well. Maybe I will at some point replay that game. I really, really enjoyed that game. Anyway, in part because of the movie. But yes, yeah, like Daryl is like, I cut the hand off the last guy who didn't, So it's like good cop, mad cop. And, right, I also like the thing of like, once he finds the hand, it's like, okay, you know, it's you guys' fault that, you know, he had to cut his hand off, so I'm gonna use the, you know, I'm gonna get the fabric thing from, you know, from the black guy to put the hand in, and Glenn, you get to carry the hand, you know, just, yeah. But yeah, and you know, once they get there, you know, Guillermo, I think it was, uh, Gil, the leader, because apparently my mouth refuses to pronounce his name correctly right now. One last try. Guillermo del Toro. Okay, nope, not happening. Okay, the leader. You know, he's like, you know, I'll feed you to my dogs, you know, and you know, oh, he feeds to the dogs. Those dogs, you know, just, that was a great, you know, and Glenn is just standing there like, you gotta help this guy, you know, oh, hi guys, you know, nice to see you again, you know, just, he's not at all afraid or in danger or anything anymore, you know, he was before. But yeah, and this thing of the carers have to put on a tough exterior because they gotta scare away people who would hurt the, you know, who would steal from them. You know, they might not directly, like, physically immediately hurt the elders, the old folks home who got home to the old folks home. Yeah, blew that line. Yeah, anyway, yes, but they would take stuff that the old folks need, you know, including possibly the well-being of these carers. So yeah, that was a really good, and this thing of, like, you know, those are our guns. Well, they were on the ground, you know, like, did you think that everyone would just wait for you to pick up? You know, I don't see your name on it. Like, we could use those guns as well. You're not the only one who needs, you know. So yeah, and it's challenging this, you know, really harmful narrative of, you know, oh, if you see a minority, you know, in a bad situation, you know, like, I feel like the term looting is inherently negative. So, you know, yeah, if you see them taking something, even if it's something they need, it's looting, and, you know, you should hate them for it. And no, it's like, you know, that is the thing that I forget about, if it's specific. No, yeah. I forget the percentage, but a certain percentage of what conservatives love to call looting is literally people taking things that they need to survive. You know, what are they supposed to do? Leave some money there whilst possibly, you know, while the situation is getting worse and worse. They might die if they stay in there too long, you know. Yeah, so, you know, yeah, some of it is literally like food and emergency supplies. But yeah, racist gonna racist. I think that does pretty much go. You're right, I really appreciate that by the end, you know, Rick does give them some of the guns, and yeah, you know, they really do end up appreciating, you know, each other's situation. And yeah, really, really tense, exciting climax with the various, you know, walkers killed. And great contrast to the, you know, it was such a cozy, nice scene right before that, you know, and then the walkers have to spoil it all by doing something stupid, like eat them. But yeah, right, and another really emotional, you know, when Rick, you know, hugs Carl, and it is this thing of, like, because this could have gone very, very badly. And yeah, I think that is everything for this episode. Yeah, really love how, you know, by the end of the episode, you know, it's doing that thing that a lot of great TV does. You know, it's something also in, for example, Prison Break. The start of the, you know, the end of one episode will set up the next episode, and we'll be like, oh, you know, by the end of the next episode, they or soon they will have to solve that. And it's maybe like, well, maybe they solve it, but a new problem arises. Or it's like, well, they did all they could to solve it for now, and it seems like, maybe the problem is slightly different. So, they didn't find Merle by the end of this episode, but he is alive somewhere. I wonder if, they said, he's going to try to make it back to camp, and he's going to be furious. Is he going to get there before the rest of them have left? Now that it's clearly not safe to be there, and now they're going to have to find a new safe place, so, and the, near the end of the episode before this one, they were talking about, it's not safe to go back into the city alone, take this, and, yeah, by the end of this episode, none of them got, hurt in the city. Like, there was some fear, obviously, but none of them were, like, injured, wounded, or something, but it was actually not safe to stay back at camp. So that's a good kind of, and they did also, they knew that they would have to leave camp, at some point, but the idea of the guns and also the guilt over Dixon, that was also right. Jim and the exploration there of survivor's guilt was really powerful. Yeah. And yeah, just really, really loving the show so far.